Welcome to Pen and Gadget, and this is a pocket fountain pen that, well, it has no name. Okay, let's try to pick this one apart real quick. It is tiny. It is, let's see here. It's 3.5 inches, a little bit less actually, when it's capped. And it is made of brass and wood. Yes, real wood, not some kind of sticker or veneer. This is real wood. It's actually got some pretty nice grain and details on it. I'll say this pen, okay, it's, Lord, it's so cheap. It's so cheap. How cheap is it? It's so cheap that you could probably buy 40 of these shipped. 40 for the price of one of these. So, yeah, you could put, I don't even know what, you could just have so many of these, it's not even funny. You could just start reselling them if you wanted to. And a couple of people do. This pen, oh my Lord, where do I begin? So, they sell them on Amazon. I found these on Amazon. They sell for like $11 to $14, depending on the time and season, okay? Sometimes these vary in price because, you know, whatever, shipping delays, whatnot. I got one for $11. I was satisfied. Let's uncap this puppy here. It actually, let's talk about this a little. Even though I usually talk about feel, I'll go through some things because this needs to be more of a review because I don't see reviews on these little guys. I don't see them anywhere. Also because there's no name. There is a brand online, it's a little hard to find, but it's called Nebula, and they've named this the Nebula Brass and Wood, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but you know, if you Google around enough, you might find it being called the Nebula Brass and Wood. That's just some company that found these on, you know, AliExpress and bought a ton of them cheap and are reselling them. They're selling them for an absurd amount of money. Probably, on the low end, I saw them for about $30. On the high end, almost $40. That's way too much money for this kind of a pen. Although, I will say, that's taking the nib into consideration. Taking everything else into consideration, it's actually, I think, worth probably about that price. I would say, in terms of the feel and the materials, I would say, yeah, I would say $30. I wouldn't bat an eye if the nibs were, you know, quality controlled and perfect. Yeah, I would say that. However, the nibs are all over the place, and the reason why I know is because I bought a crap ton of these. I have like 7 of them. So anywho, I was on Amazon. I found this little guy. It was one of those things where I didn't really know anything about pocket, you know, fountain pens, and I was kind of just getting into it. And ultimately, I was like, okay, let me go down this rabbit hole. So it's tiny. It actually feels really comfortable in the hand. It's got some weight to it, which is important to me if you watch my videos. The brass and the wood, I think it's a great looking combination. It comes in about 4 different color variations. Let's see if I do have, a little girl from Ipanema in the background. Okay, it has, you know, options for ebony black and all kinds of things. They're very pretty, and you can collect them, you know, Pokemon style. Gotta catch them all. But yeah, these pens, they scratch kind of an itch, which is a good thing. Again, that's my little thing. They've gotta be somewhat of what's the word? Covetable. I'm gonna make up that word. It's not, you know, it's not a real word. But the nibs, they come in really one size. They vary only because their tolerances are crap. They don't have like an extra fine, a medium. No, they have none of that. I think it's a standard like fine/medium, and then whatever shows up in terms of the quality of this. I have, again, 7 of them. I think about 3 of them are really decent nibs. they're gold plated, nothing crazy. You know, they do have iridium tips, and they're nothing to, you know, write home about. However, I'll say that they do, when they're adjusted, they do write and draw pretty well. You have to polish these. You can't get a really smooth feeling out of these without a little bit of work. So if you're into that, you can work on these, and yes, then you've got a really nice nib. And that's where I believe this pen becomes its own. You know, you could go online and buy these make your own fountain pen kits. They basically come with like the section and a choice of nibs that just screws in, and then like the metal parts and whatnot. And then you can just buy stock and shape your own, like, you know, pen barrels and whatnot. There's a lot of guys out there who make their own pens that way, and they just buy the parts and then they just fill in the blank, you know, spaces with their own flourishes. I feel like this is such a great base to do something like that. I feel like you could easily just snap this wood off or cut it off. And, you know, the way it's built, I'll show you real quick. It's just this little brass, you know, end, and that's, you know, it's slotted in. It probably goes about this deep in, and then it goes in, you know, same thing here, and then in here, we'll break this apart, open this puppy up. There you go. That's it. So as you can see in the inside, it's just, you know, it's just there. There you can see it, kind of. So yeah, it stops about here. So if you could take these two ends off, you can make whatever you want in between here. And you can make it longer, shorter, it doesn't really matter, because, you know, the cap size, as long as this is going to the cap size, which it will, you can create your own new pen. I think this is the cheapest way to buy, like, a make your own fountain pen kit pen. You know, cartridge based. I wouldn't eyedropper this for many reasons. There's no, the tolerances on these threads are not high tolerances. I would say this, they feel a little gritty. Now you could get in there and, you know, clean them out and do what you need to do and make them smooth. And I have on a couple of them. So again, it's kind of like a, hey, here's the rough materials. Have at it. Make your own brass hardware fountain pen. I'll say this: it is quality for the price. If you go on AliExpress, you can find them for $2, sometimes free shipping, and you can buy a boatload of them. On Amazon, I bought a 3-pack for $11. So it kept getting cheaper and cheaper. I bought one for, I think it was like $12, and then I found online, you know, the black one, and it was like on sale for like $9, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll get the black one for $9. And then on Amazon again, a pair of 3 showed up for like $12 or 11 something, you know, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw on AliExpress they were like $2, and you had to wait like 6 weeks or whatever. But who cares if it's, you know, if it's gonna be that kind of a priced pen, you're expecting it to be, okay, this is just a fun to collect little thing. I think a crayon would cost more than buying one of these from AliExpress. With all of that said, it does have a nice feel. It doesn't take many turns to cap or post or you know, whatever you want to say. I would say this. Let's do the posted, because yes, people do need some of this information here. Posted, we are at, let's get it right up here. 4.75 inches, which is not bad. That is not bad. My hands, let's see if I can show you my hands here. They're not small, they're not, you know, Andre the Giant, you know, type of hands, but you can get a sense. I have piano hands, piano fingers. I play piano. But yeah, that's my rough, you know, size hand. And in the hand, it's not so bad. It feels pretty darn good. So anywho, yeah, I would say this is a great project pen. The nibs can be worked on, and you can get a pretty nice feel once you've worked on them. I think that would be, I guess, the tinkerer in me would want to keep refining and doing things with it. You can change this material out. You can do carbon fiber, whatever you want to do. Anywho, this is the best at what it is. It is the cheapest pocket pen you could buy. There is no cheaper. If you find cheaper, it'll probably be made out of plastic. It's brass, wood. It's got a decent nib you could work on. The feed is just fine. It's just a plastic feed. Again, it takes... Oh, okay, we'll talk about this too. Cartridges-wise. Yes, cartridges-wise. This is a little bit of a thing. If you're into brand name pocket pens or any cartridge type pocket pen or regular size pen, there's the international standard, right? They label these as international standard, but there isn't an international standard. There is two. There's the Asian international standard, and then there's the international standard. On the cheap pens, it's the Asian version. The regular, like if you get like a Kaweco, those little short international things, they don't fit on this. It won't work. I don't remember if it's too tight or if it's too loose, but whatever it is, it won't work. You have to get this one was also, by the way, disassembled. So, if you want to see, this thing comes apart, pretty easily. This one I had taken apart. They're glued in, so you can see the remnants of the glue here. So if you want to modify, you're going to have to do a little bit of a special kind of knockout thing where you knock it out right alongside here. Not so easy to do. But they're not glued in there really strong. They put you could see, they put like a dab of glue and then just pushed it in and that was it. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Anyway, the point is, these take a Asian style international short cartridge, and that's the one caveat. You'll have to make sure you find the difference between those two. Anywho, so with that said, this is the cheapest, the best cheapest pocket fountain pen, I think, in the world. I don't think you can find anything else. There is a company I found online that did something pretty cool with these, and basically they did what I said. They took out, the center, and they made their own version. There is another one out there too, which I don't have because I just don't like it. It's actually too long to be called a pocket pen, but we'll touch on it in another video. But they also, I think, AliExpressed it and basically was like, hey, we'll make it custom, and they got rid of the middle section and they just made their own wooden carved section and put their own little clip on it, and they made it like a new thing, which was better and nicer, but they charge way too much for it because it's still the stock nib, which is not a great nib. And so they're charging, like Kaweco prices for something that's a $2 pen, basically, and they're just swapping out the wood. So you're paying a premium for that, whatever they did. Anywho, I think this is a great project pen. I think this is the ultimate cheap pocket pen. There is nothing else on the market like this right now. It feels quality. The machining, okay, let's go. Let's get into the macro world here. The machining, if we can focus. Maybe it doesn't want to focus. There we go. All right, so the machining on this guy, no, we don't want to focus. Apparently not. The machining on this guy is, you can feel it. It's a little sharp, and it is brass. It will apparently, soften up over time, but you might want to take like just a nail filer and just put it on the edge and just do a couple of turns. It feels like some of these come with a tiny bit of a burr on them. Same thing for the cap screw here. It could be ever so slightly a little sharp, but again, nothing, a little file, just one or two turns around, knock that burr off, it feels fine. Again, these are made for pennies because they sell for just dollars. So, you don't expect the world of it, and it'll actually blow you away. I still think that this is worth the price that I paid for originally at $12. I think it's worth a little bit more. And again, if you can find them in different colors and whatnot, get them. They're fun to have. Give them as gifts. You know, take them home, clean them out, take off that burr, test, you know, do a little writing sample. Actually, let's show you some drawing that I did. These are nothing to write home about. This is just my first little test with it. I did a little, you know, little pirate ship map. You can see the date that I did it on. Nice, nothing to complain about. It works really well. I don't see any kind of issues with what I had accomplished. Anywho, that's all I have to say for this pen, because we've gone on way too long blabbing. I am here to tell you, you gotta get one of these. For the price, you can't really beat it. Anywho, this has been Pen and Gadget. Signing off. Sayonara.